What's going on, folks? Painless. These type of subjects and topics are, and have you noticed it's always around this time? I remember George Floyd. It was always around this. It was around this time in 2020 um, that these situations arise, and we know in the so-called black community, we know we can tell about April and May when stuff start kicking off, and you even hear it in the so-called black community. Ooh, this summer gonna be hot. Ooh, it's gonna be on this summer. Ooh, this summer gonna be lit. Woo woo. You know what I'm saying? I remember when Freddie Gray popped off back in 2015, 2016. And I know because I flew into Baltimore. I was on TDY, temporary duty, at Aberdeen Proving Ground, not far from Baltimore. And we got, I tell you what, we got out of Bmore right in time because that's when them Negroes started tearing Baltimore up. And I flew from Baltimore to Atlanta, back to Hawaii. That's when I was living in Hawaii. So there's this thing that we know in the so-called black community that, things start kicking off by April, May. Dust begins to get kicked up, and we know what type of summer this gonna be. You know, a lot of lives are gonna be lost in the so-called black community around America. Which brings me to this guy, Jordan Neely. Now, I, you know, here we go, same thing. Well, Painless, you saying he deserved to die? No, I didn't say that. I'm saying, as I've always said with these guys that have lost their lives within the last 10 to 15 years because of decision making, not because they deserved it. Life is about decisions. And I'm not going to get into no big old sermon on that, but I'm just saying when you go around and you do certain things, you be prepared for the consequences. There are consequences. Now, I know many in the so called black community don't like to see them optics of a white guy with his legs wrapped around the midsection and his arms around the throat of a young black male. The optics, I, they can trigger you. Let me say this. Speaking about the white guy, look, let me tell you something. You brothers out here, that idea, see, I grew up with it. We grew up with it. That idea, that idea that, ooh, he a white boy, I can take him. Y'all need to get that out y'all's head right now, brothers. This ain't 1987. This ain't white men can't jump. Especially, you know what? Especially when you go to the West Coast, when you go to like San Diego, around there, especially on the West Coast, a lot of them white guys are into MMA. What is it? Krav Maga, all the BJ Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, Kempo, and they will beat your ass. You know what I'm saying? These ex-Marine SEAL guys used to be in the military, especially in California. They will kick your ass if you don't know. You know what I'm saying? And the way I see a lot of brothers, I've seen it all my life, And I look at a lot of brothers now. See, back in the 80s, you know, we come from that era where our uncles and our dads taught us how to squab or fight, how to position ourselves, how to position your feet. Stop swimming. I see a lot, and I know this sounds maybe elementary to many of y'all and kind of immature, but I'm just saying, just to bring it in with this video. I mean, we got social media now. And even I engage in the tomfoolery and seeing little fight videos. And I see so many men, so many of these young boys. We call it swimming. We call it swimming. Whereas a man, you expect that type of fight from women, where you just flailing your arms and all that. I see that so many times with young men, especially young black men, swimming. And then they get to me, I'm like, that's why y'all so quick to pull them pistols, because y'all can't fight like a mug. Y'all can't fight worth a damn. And now you seeing a lot, and you even hear it. You even hear a little slide like, oh yeah, these white boys doing this MMA, and why you kicking me? Why you kicking? Ain't no kicking and fight. Man, look, when you and this is the thing, when you in a fight and you got an issue with somebody, I talked to my daddy about this, and he concurred. First off, you shouldn't just be out here fighting to be play fighting. I'm 44 years old. If I get into a fight on the street, first off, it's going to be you invaded my space, you put your hands on me. But I'm not out here trying to play with you. I'm trying to hurt you. That's why you don't mess. We didn't mess with older guys back in the day because they would cut you or shoot you. That is, that was the order of the day. I'm 52. I'm just putting out, throwing something out there because I've heard this before. I've heard guys say, man, I'm 52 years old. You think I'm going to be out here busting my knuckles and I got this damn pistol on me? I'm finna end you right now because I'm not playing with you. You put your hands on me, you are dead. That was the old school way. A lot of our older uncles and stuff like that, you put your hands on me, you're done. Because it's assumed like if you should never put your hands on somebody without just cause. That's why, I know in many you even see this in criminal organizations. You can't touch a made man. You put your hand on a made man, you're dead. Because a man should never be so quick to do that. And I've always said fighting and all that is and wanting to kill somebody just because they stepped on your shoes. That's a woman. That's what I would expect that from a woman because you can't come back from that. See, men together, we know how to act because there's consequences. That's why when you go to the pen, there's consequences for not following rules. See, when you raise around, I know this sounds cliche, but when you raise around a lot of women, you don't understand that concept of rules and pecking order. You know, big fish, little fish. You know, but yeah, this guy, you brothers, y'all need to get out that shit. Y'all need to get out of that. Especially a lot of you brothers. I'm not, especially moving back down south. I'm not Mr. Universe. Not at all. I hit the gym 45 days a week consistently. And to say I'm not Mr. Universe. But a lot of brothers I see out here down south, y'all can't walk up a flight of stairs. Y'all built like toast. I see you from the back, brother. You built like a damn piece of toast. Why? You just look unhealthy, brother. And you think you can still do things when you was young, but you can't. And these Caucasian, these white boys, they be training, man. But I would say down south, well, you got some fat white. I mean, some down south is just it doesn't. Everybody's fat in the south for the most part. Don't want to work out. You know, if you big and you trying to do something about it, I get that. Okay, I respect that. You're trying to make change and all that. But if you talking about you don't like to sweat, I had a brother tell me, he said, "Man, I don't like to sweat." I'm like, "What? You don't like to work out? You don't like to?" I mean, that's to me. That's I don't get that. But anyway, like I said, I know I went off a tangent, but look, brothers, y'all need to get out there. You can whoop every white boy. You need to stop that shit right now. Cause we ain't as strong. We ain't, as a group of men, as black men, we ain't like we used to back. Stop that. But yeah, this brother was met his demise, um, and he, we're gonna go to the record. We know his arrest record, and I always said that and I believe he was in his 30s. When I hear someone who's been arrested 40 times, that's a very big red flag for me. When you're getting arrested for felony aggravated assault by punching older people, I believe people like that need to be removed from society, either prison. You know, I mean, he hasn't killed anyone that we know. So, but I do believe in corporal punishment. I've always believed in that. Sometimes shit happens, and we didn't get it right. But I like to think that when people know when you take a life, you don't deserve to keep your life. It's pretty much simple for me. Um, but yeah, I believe this is a guy that should have been in jail, in prison for an extensive amount of time. He should not have been on the street. And I've talked about nuisances. Uh, there's this type of behavior um, is getting tiresome by people, and people are taking stuff into their own hands. And I was thinking to myself, and I've said this before with these cases. I've said in the so-called black community, there's no accountability. We don't call each other out. We know them people down there doing stuff they ain't got no business doing, killing people, hurting people, but we don't do nothing. So when we see someone, in this case of that ex-Marine or whatever, he took situations in his own hands. And in the so called black community, that is sacrilege. Many can't understand that. So we lash out. Who are you to think that you can do something about a situation? I've seen this you see this in school. You see this amongst non-white defeated peoples. Oh, you even in the classroom. I mean, you're engaging with the teacher. You're answering the teacher's questions. Oh, you think you know it all. Oh, you think this, that. See, that's a very immature mind state to have. But people in the so called black community of America, our culture is very immature and degenerative, which spawns these types of responses. Lo and behold, you see somebody threatening people in a public space, getting in people's face, accosting people, and you do something about it. Who are you? Who do you think you are to do something? Who do you think you are to change? And that's how most black folks in America are. Just to uh, How dare you try to pick up the trash in the community? How dare you try to paint over the graffiti? Who you think you is? You think you better than us? That all that mentality can be directly attributed to how I've seen a lot of folks, mostly Negroes, respond to this story. Like who he think he is to choke somebody and kill somebody. And I'm gonna say this: I don't believe that guy said, "You know what? I'm gonna kill this dude. I'm gonna kill him." I think he tried to subdue him, and but this young brother um, probably was doing the most, which is why you had other folks trying to control him and do all this and all that. And this is another thing. It goes. This is where black folks end up eating their own words and contradicting themselves. Do you know when I was coming up, I heard aunties of mine saying, "You know what? With a black child, you just gotta beat them. They don't listen. You gotta just beat a black child." You know, and I'll never forget that. Now, let's say that is true. How do we look at this guy right here with over 42 arrests, assaulting people, harassing people on the plane, on the train? Then, when met with resistance or confronted about this irrational behavior, he becomes belligerent. He becomes untamable. He becomes difficult. He resists. Well, painless. That makes Marine. He ain't no police. I never said he was a police, but I think it's this. But we can look at George Floyd, uncooperative, resisting. Could have just ate the situation, sat down, detox, and probably would still be alive today. Isn't that Doesn't that make that concept of one of my aunties told me that you just gotta beat a black child, you gotta just get rough with them. You see where I'm going with this? And this is where black folks they contradict themselves and end up eating their words. See, he to be treated like that means you were acting irrational. To have somebody put you in a chokehold and put their legs around your waist and choke you, that means you brought that on yourself. And this whole thing about mental illness is real. Don't get me wrong. But to me, the family, my thing is, if he was such a damn nutcase, why didn't y'all have y'all's finger on his pulse? Meaning, why didn't y'all protect him? This fool out here dressing like Michael Jackson, and I've said this is where a lot of black folks crave attention. And see, when you crave so much attention, this one I look at all these TikTokers, all these big gorilla looking dude pop locking and all. That's insecurity, and they smiling and all this. They are dying inside, so they need attention. Just like the brothers back in the day that be on the bus or with their headphones, rapping loud, want everybody to see them. Hey, look at me. Pay attention to me. That's what a child does. That's what the youngest child in the family does. Just does dumb shit because nobody's paying attention to them. So they'll go over there and knock a vase off the damn table and and it bust on the floor into pieces because they want attention. And this is how many black folks in America are. They want attention, so they do stupid shit. They don't care what kind of attention they get. Long as it's attention. Oh, I forgot you Negroes were over there. You know, that's what we living in. You know, just like this whole thing. Every black folk I talk to is all on this anti-gun stuff. And I'm gonna segue into this little topic because I mean that's pretty much about this young guy that lost his life. Make better decisions. When Painless steps out, I like to be. Oh shit! I didn't know you was. That's exactly how I like to be. No added attention to myself. And the irony is that many black folks like to, well, hey, be careful of your surroundings and all this and that. Well, shit, that don't help when you got twigs and stuff. Them big old thick lock dreadlocks hang bouncing off your head with a mouth full of gold and chains on, and you wonder why you're getting so much damn attention. That's why. So, but most black folks they talk, this gun. I said America ain't got a gun problem. When I go on gun and shout out to AK News Nation, uh, he put out a lot of good material. Sombritos and sunmen and gliders, irrespective of the Caucasian, a black male, and a Hispanic. But when I go on gunmemorial.org, I'm not seeing a lot of Caucasians on there. You know who I'm seeing on there? Negroes. America doesn't have a gun problem. And what's so sad is many of you all that are anti gun in the so called black community, y'all done had 5 people shot on your steps in the 25, 30 years you lived in that neighborhood. Not talking about the people that been killed in your neighborhood, but you didn't have 5 people shot on your building steps. And you want to talk about some mass shootings at a damn private school? No. Negroes have a gun problem. Black folks have a gun problem. White folks ain't got no gun problem. We see, I mean, God, the shit is, the writing's on the wall. Go to gunmemorial.org and see who all these people, all these young kids dying by 14 years old, getting killed 13, 16, 29, getting killed. And then then you see the way. I would say a lot of the killings I see on gunmemorial.org, it's usually murder suicide. White guy probably caught his wife cheating or some bullshit, and he kills her and him. Hispanic, same thing, but up there with black folks. But by far, when I read these stories about black folks getting killed, it's always some bullshit. It's always some nigga shit that that could have been avoided. But when you're dealing with a group of people with a degenerative culture, impulse control, lack thereof, and we like to talk. I was watching, somebody did a video about, I'm about to get back on that boy Jordan Neely, and they were talking about the optics. I said to myself, it's interesting how black folks can be so conveniently surprised and appalled. You know what I'm saying? Like when you see these little fight videos, you got Negroes jumping on each other's heads. I mean, like jumping as high as they can and landing on another black man's head with both feet. Yeah, we don't say shit about that. And when you knock somebody out, you're not beating them down. See, when I lived in Hawaii all them years, them island boys love to throw hands. Anybody who been stationed, and you be out there, you gonna get into you gonna see some fights if you out there on the town, but it was all about respect. I never see them island boys. They'll knock your ass out, but that'll be it. They'll probably walk off or help your ass up. They ain't gonna jump up and down on your head and kick you in your face and all that shit. Like act like you done knocked the motherfucker out before. You know what I'm saying? Act like you done whooped somebody's ass before. I see a lot of these guys, these young brothers out here on these little TikTok fight videos. You can tell they ain't never beat up nobody no fault before. Like if you done beat up somebody, you knock their ass out or you blend them up and they down, they staggering, and you get on. I ain't trying to kick you in your mouth and pull your pants down and all that stupid ass shit. Yeah, you gonna talk about me. Yeah, you gonna talk about how a white guy is subduing a black guy with a chokehold. And now, oh shit, the damn sky falling. Oh no, look at this. This is a public lynching. Shut that shit down, please. Because, see, that type of mentality is why shit don't change in the so called black community. When you can't understand or arrive to that simple concept or that simple, this the difference in that, then you ain't ready for nothing else. It's like, motherfucker, if you can't beat the underboss, you're not ready for the big boss. You need to go get your weight up. You need to go train again. So, this whole thing about a public lynching, no. But like I said, the violence problem is a black problem. And nobody's going to say it. Even the people who believe it won't say it. But yeah, it's unfortunate. But like I tell you guys, especially you brothers, stay low key, take care of your body, and stay out the way and move in silence. Painless out.